Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
and this is State of Atlanta.
It's a little weird now, huh?
Yeah, what's weird? Tim not being here, or the fact that I'm drinking Mick Ultra?
Well, that's not weird. You drink a lot of shit beer. You
Well,
drink whatever
not my,
beer people put in front of you.
and that's what I'm doing today. I realized that I did not have any beer left over, and I was like, wait, I have a case of leftover Mick Ultra from tailgates from 4 months ago. I'm sure
Mm.
it's good.
I constantly am trying to prove to myself that I'm not an alcoholic, and so one of the ways that I do that is by turning down alcohol I don't want.
But I want it.
I know. Well, and I do too. Like if I get to my core of things, I would probably just drink it, but it makes me feel really good about myself to be like, you know what? That's I don't want to do that to myself.
I'm like that with tequila shots.
Yeah, tequila. Yeah, exactly. Nope. But whiskey, you've noticed, right? Whiskey, I'll even do it now. I'll turn down a really nice whiskey.
Yeah, that's weird to me. But I'm okay with you turning down a whiskey because I always say just well get it and then just give it to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Danny, close your ears.
Right. Danny is like one of my number one like what is it? What's it called in the drug dealing biz? The dealer, the provider,
Your
the
hookup,
yeah, my hookup. Yeah.
yeah.
Danny's like, you want to come over to my house? And I'm like, yes, whatever the rest of the question is, I want to come over to your house and drink all of your bourbon. He's like, you want to come over to my house and like help me build a addition to the house? Yes, I'll do
Kill,
that. There's bourbon
take out
involved,
this
right?
hornet nest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you want to just come here and stand in a pit of bees for an hour? It's like, will you be pouring me bourbon? Yeah, I'll do that. I will do that thing for you, Danny. Yes, absolutely. Dude, I don't know what we're talking about tonight. It's been kind of a quiet. It's quiet in the sense that we should have something to talk about. And what I mean is, how many weeks are we going to do an episode talking about is Jonas Hayes fired or not fired? And if he is, who's replacing him? And if he's not, when are they going to say something? Because
Yeah,
this is like the fourth week in a row.
he's definitely. I mean, I say definitely. He's like 95% fired. I'm 95% sure he's fired. I feel pretty confident that he was actually fired and that those sources did hear something from someone, probably his agent or something, like putting feelers out. But I just think I think the real news story for a podcast for us and for our fans is that we haven't really heard officially that that's even happened. It's been weeks now.
Right. Well, and like I think when we recorded last week, Charlotte had just announced they had fired their head coach. What a novel concept. They announced they fired their head coach. We still
Mhm.
haven't announced anything. And it was yesterday, I believe, they announced they've hired their replacement coach. So within 1 week, they announced who they were getting rid of and who bringing in. And I think it's some Cincinnati Bearcats coach or something like that. I don't really care. But either way,
Well, we haven't even
we're
kicked off our search, right?
well, we've heard rumors that Zoom interviews were going on this week, but it's the same rumors that the guy's fired in the first place. What are you supposed to do? So I don't know
That's
how many
yeah.
times we can talk. I don't know how many times and how long we can talk about whether or not Hayes is gone and who's coming in until something actually happens. But why can there not be something that comes out of the athletics?
Yeah, it baffles me. I mean, it's news, it's engagement, and you want engagement. And so, like when I run campaigns and stuff, you look for any reason to say anything because you might get somebody who latches on and talks about something. You might you just get more well known the more people see your name out there and all that kind of stuff. So even in just terms of bare bones marketing, put your news out there.
Right.
Like you have news, put it out there. These are big news. People are talking about it who don't even give a shit about Georgia State.
There at this point, you have to like wonder: do we not have $250,000 to buy him out, and we're trying to negotiate some other settlement? When you don't talk about something, people's minds start wandering, and they wander and wander. They have to figure out what's going on, and they try to make sense of something that they got no knowledge of, and you obviously go the worst direction possible. So
Maybe they wanna keep him, you're right. Maybe they wanna keep him and, they just don't wanna announce it because that would put him in a bad position. That would make 'em look like assholes, in the end.
say
Not that they
absolutely
look like
nothing.
Yeah.
say absolutely nothing, and then say come November, we go to the game, we're like, "Who's gonna be there?" Like,
And it's
wait
Hayes. Hayes
till
comes
wait
out.
wait till Ben's dad announces who the head coach is, like, to find out who we actually have there.
Hayes comes out. He's getting paid about $50,000 less per year or something. But that's it. No, no, that's not going to happen.
Oh, would they do that? Would they be like, "All right, you suck, but we don't wanna actually spend time hiring somebody else, so let's just give you a pay cut and you can stick around for another year." It'd be easier for everybody. See, these are the types of ideas that start spiraling in people's minds when you
That's the
don't
five
get s
percent. I said I'm 95% sure. That's the 5%. Is like
and
what the hell?
everybody else comes out and says, we thank Coach Hayes for the past 4 years of service here, but obviously it's not taken us to the level that Georgia State expects to be in the basketball landscape. We wish him the best in his future endeavors. We will commit to our fans and our season ticket holders to get the best like that, or a we're moving forward with Coach Hayes. And like, and if you're not giving me the first one and you're not giving me the second one, I've got to imagine the second one is what it really is, that you're just keeping the guy along,
I mean,
right?
maybe not. Because like we just stopped hearing from basketball. We stopped getting any sort of press conferences or anything after football ended. Because basketball stopped. I think like one game after the football season ended, basketball stopped doing press conferences too. Which I was like, what? Well, okay, I guess we're just like done here. And so who they just don't know how to communicate. They just have no
I think
clue.
I think after one of the basketball games, Dave actually interviewed the opposing head coach instead of interviewing Hayes. Maybe I'm making that up. But it's one of those kind of things that it wouldn't surprise me. But I think it's accurate. I think that he was interviewing whoever we played head
Yeah.
coach. So
Well, those coach interviews, the post game stuff, those are pretty boring. The
oh my God.
press conferences sometimes have really interesting tidbits, or even just the attitude that the coach has, or who they decide to throw under the bus. Like those can be interesting, but like on the court right after the game, he's just saying, "Oh, well, our boys played hard, and we missed a couple baskets that we should have made, and we lost the game," because that's how it
Yeah,
happened most of the time.
we got to play a full 40 minutes of basketball, and
Yeah,
anything less than that's not good enough to blah 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 blah. Yeah, and also when it depends on the coach you have. Like when you had a guy like Coach Hunter, it was really easy to watch a post game presser because he's just especially after a win, because he's so just boisterous and upbeat and outgoing and fun and sweating his head off and everything. He was fun. Then you got a guy like Lanier and even Hayes. Hell, what's his face? The Elliott, Sean Elliott. Watching him in a post game presser is just like this is mine. I feel like I'm obligated to watch those things just to be prepared for the podcast, and it's like I'm gonna pass out if I have to watch another minute of this. This is so mind numbing.
well, and then they get to the questions, and nobody has a mic, and so you have no idea what the question is, and or what they're answering. They don't repeat it back. I'm like, guys, get a little media training, a little bit, something.
Yeah, all you hear is the coach going, "Yep, that's something we definitely have to work on the next week." Like, what? What you've got to work on? I didn't hear the question.
Yeah,
Tell me
tell me
what
what.
it is you have to work on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just think the lack of communication hopefully fixes itself with a new AD. I've never heard of an AD that can't do this, that doesn't do this. So,
That's another question. Do we have a new AD coming in? I don't know.
well, I think that contract is flat out. So unless we hear somebody like got a new contract, which it would be public information, then is what it is.
Do they have to file it by a certain time that to be? I don't know. Should we
I
ask?
feel like the AJC would get.
They stopped AJC stopped paying attention to us years ago.
They reported on the Hayes maybe firing.
Oh yeah, they said reportedly he is fired.
Yeah, yeah, because we copied another reporter that we found on Twitter.
Are they considered a newspaper still?
Well, they don't have paper anymore, so
Right,
they're just news. I don't know.
news publication.
I don't know. As soon as they put so much stuff behind the paywall, and I'm like, guys, you're the HAC. Nothing here is anything I can't find somewhere else for free.
Right.
So why would I do that? Give me your ads and tell me the page won't load without loading ads. I'll do that.
I won't do that. I just stopped. I'm like, oh, if I can't, I'll turn off JavaScript, and if that
Don't
doesn't,
don't give me a pop-up though. Just give me plain banner ads that,
I do
you get
like.
paid per eyeball.
I'm more inclined to pay for a website when the click through button says, like, click through without giving us money or without paying us or whatever it says. It's very passive aggressive. Like, take your free stuff and just, be a cheapskate or whatever. I'm like, maybe I should just, toss them a buck or two. Then I'm like, I'm not gonna do
I will
that.
say that's one pop-up that's okay too, is just like hey, we're giving this away for free. If you would consider like a donation of $1 or 2 or whatever, that'd be great. And then like click close and you get the article,
Yeah,
you know?
that should be that could be like a that would be a cool plugin or feature app thing. We make here's our $1 million idea. Anybody that runs with this is going to be recorded here. So you hear that it's our idea first. Our idea, I mean my idea, and I'm sharing it with Ryan for the first time. I have a little button on my browser that I can go to a page and be like, all right, I'll do 25 cents right now just to read this article. Just one button, bam, hits my PayPal account. It goes through, and I don't see it. Don't have to worry about anything at all, and click through it. Versus having to log in, create an account, um, you know, pay for a monthly. I don't want to pay $6.99 a month for AJC access to read the one article about Georgia State they put out every year. You know, but I wouldn't
Do
mind
know.
reading that one. I'd pay 25 cents, 50 cents. I'd pay $1 right now if there's a button I could click right there. No login, no anything else. Let me get through this paywall. Boom, right there.
Just like a 10 cents. Let me read it. Yeah.
Exactly. Just whatever it
I
is.
think it seems like with like a Google Pay or an Apple Pay, like if you're logged into your browser, they could sync that pretty easily. Like it'd be like a confirm or something, but like it's
Yeah.
already there.
Yeah.
You're logged in.
Boom. There you go. All right, cool. That's my idea. We're gonna call it the State Way. I don't know. It's stupid. The State of Atlanta Way.
And that's what we'll put on our website eventually when we have a website.
It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be like going on one of those like Ryanair in the UK or whatever, where they spend the entire flight just selling you stuff. You're gonna go to a website and every pop up is like 10 cents for this. For the back button, you have to pay another 50 cents, and to to not get this in a weird color font that you can't, to get it out of Comic Sans, but pay another $1 for the thing. It's gonna be a zillion dollars just to. I love this idea. And we take a little off the top on every little transaction.
The thing is that annoys people with money, and it's really good for people without money
Right.
because they can always skimp. They're like, oh shit, I just won't pack anything. I'm just gonna go for 2 days, and I don't have to change for 2 days. It's fine.
Exactly.
It's all good.
Trying to sell me a pair of shorts while I'm on an airplane? Absolutely. I didn't pack but one pair of shorts. This is perfect. I crap my other at the airport bar. Works out really well for me. So,
Jesus,
All
you
right,
live
so
a
the big
different life
news
than
right
I do,
now-
David.
I've only crap my pants a couple of times, but it's happened more than once. So
Boy, okay.
the big news right now in college sports has got to be we're in the middle of March Madness, and Ryan, you forgot to fill out your bracket.
Well, I did my work bracket, which was free entry, and I think I get like $50 if I win. So like, I did the important one. I didn't do the state of Atlanta one because I was like, oh great, I already have a bracket. I can just go sync it up to it, and oh, lo and behold, one's on ESPN and one's on NCAA.
It is a pain in the ass to have to people get into that stuff. They specifically go into different brackets with like, I'm gonna approach this one very aggressively. This one's more passive. And I'm like, I click the little button, I see the little stats, how they show it, and like if one team's like really good at like steals, like that's my thing I'm doing this year. Steals.
That's
the team that has the most steals. That's the one that I'm gonna pick, whatever. But I'm in second place right now.
That's hilarious. I do the same exact thing as you. I pick a stat that they're showing me. Because I'll take a look at all the stats and I'll be like, oh, that doesn't matter, and that doesn't matter, and that doesn't matter, because that's bullshit. Like they played nobody and blah blah, whatever. I'll figure it out, and then I'll be like, but this seems like it's the trend, and I'm gonna do this one.
Yeah.
So then I just do it throughout. So yeah, and it'll change for ESPN or NCAA because they expose different stats in that button.
Yeah, they have, and then sometimes you'll see like you'll randomly remember a rematch and be like, oh, I picked that one on this one, but this stat's better. Should I go change that? No, I'm just gonna keep rolling with this whole thing. So
yeah,
I did see a X post where somebody said this was their 10th year in the row of doing their entire family, like all the siblings, the spouses, the parents, and the family cat all had their own bracket. And the cat would, if it was ever a cat mascot versus a human mascot, the cat would always win. If it was two cats mascots, the bigger cat would be the one that wins. That's how they would pick for the cat, for the cat's bracket. The cat had won the bracket more than once in the past 10 years.
Those guys.
But the reason why I wanted to bring it up, because obviously Georgia State's not in it. However, Kennesaw State and Georgia made it, both early exits, meaning that Georgia State still is the most recent program from the state of Georgia to have won a game in the NCAA tournament back in,
That's wild.
what was that, 2015? 2015 when that was that was that when the shot was, or 2014?
I have no idea, man.
I think it was 2015. Yeah, it had to be 2015. Had to be 2015 when that happened. But yeah, so Georgia State's still by NCAA performance, Georgia State is still the best college basketball team in the state of Georgia.
Nice.
Fuck it, Kennesaw.
Well, I'm in the 25th percentile, so not doing so hot. But I'm still in it because I picked Michigan.
I have Michigan in the state of Atlanta as well.
Yeah.
Gonzaga screwed me over, but I think Gonzaga screwed over a lot of people.
Wait, where are they?
The item in my Final Four, they lost to. I'll forget how they lost to.
Oh, you know what I did though? I picked Kennesaw to win, and I know I'm gonna get a little hate from State of Atlanta crew on that, but I just was like, you know what, San State, and I'm gonna pick them to win because I don't know shit about shit. I don't know anything about any of these people, and so I sort of did a little bit of a who would I want to win.
You're not going to get shit from state of Atlanta people because they're not going to see your bracket because you didn't do one.
That's true. That's true. But then I did have Texas beating them anyway, so I'm back in it, baby.
Oh, and I'm totally like a petty fan when it comes to the first round. I will pick against any team I don't like. Like, nope, you're losing. Don't care who you are. Kennesaw, you're out. Don't like you. Georgia, you're out. Don't like you. Obviously, trash down south. They would never make it. Whatever. Yeah. Like, even if that's a thing. The Sun Belt champion, unless it's us, you're out. Don't like you either. I'm very petty.
It's actually funny though, because if I would have picked Gonzaga to beat Kennesaw in the first round, I would never have picked Texas to beat Gonzaga. But because I had Gonzaga against, I had Texas against Kennesaw State, I picked Texas, and so it did not break my bracket. I actually
was it Texas that beat Gonzaga? Is that who they lost to?
Yeah.
Stupid. That's the ugliest orange out of all the oranges. That burnt orange is just so boring.
No, Tennessee, man, puke orange is worse.
Tennessee's orange is
it's not a lot different, but it's worse.
It's like a highlighter orange. It's pretty bad.
Puke orange. It's gross.
Fluorescent orange.
Yeah.
So one thing that came out with the tournament so far is like none of the low major teams, none of the non P4 programs advanced in the tournament for the past 2 years. I think it is, and people are talking about this is just a testament to what the NIL and transfer portal is doing. That any team that starts to get hot with a good player is gone immediately, and so it's kind of ruining that Cinderella story for a lot of programs in the college basketball area. I know you don't really. This is more of a conversation for Tim because you're more of the anarchy. Kids can go wherever they want to, whenever they want to, no restrictions, no rules, but it's kind of making it a little bit less fun, right?
Well, no, because no team is like owed two games in a row, and theoretically, in that situation, that athlete is still playing in the NCAA. Like, if you're just excited to watch them play, like you still get to. So I don't really see much of a problem there. Like, I don't really care if whoever like did really well last year and then they don't do well this year because they lost everybody to NIL. Like, why would I care? Like, the person who picked up those players is going to do well, and I don't care about them very much either. I only care about my team.
Right. And we're sure as hell not there. No, but I think the idea is like the cool thing about basketball compared to football. We talk about or we talk about, it's talked about with the college football playoff and not wanting to even have that group of five team to even be allowed into the playoff because they've got no chance whatsoever at all. And then you have college basketball tournament where you have 68 teams that go into it, and you you have that shot of that team. Maybe they're not going to make it, but they may win 3 games, make it to the Elite Eight, or maybe the Final Four or something that just comes out of nowhere. But you can't really build those types of programs to the lower levels anymore, because as soon as a team starts to gel and be good for a season, you're starting over every single year with a whole new box of scraps.
It's an excuse. Everyone's doing it. You're playing in the same sandbox with everybody else with the same rules.
You're
Like,
you're
is what
doing
it
it.
is.
You're doing it, but not everybody's playing with the same deck of cards, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely different budgets and stuff.
I do think that I'm very much against athletes being employees of the university and just becoming just this professional or semi-professional sports league. But at the same time, the only way you can fix whatever this is going on with NIL and transfer portal is if they are employees and you have salary caps and treat it like a lower level NFL. So I got to figure out which one I care more about. And I don't know where it is right now.
It's true. The sitting on the fence, I think, is causing a lot more problems than should even have to happen. Because it's like people just want to go like halfway into the professional, even though it's been a professional sport for a long time. It's just been cash under the table.
So NFL has salary caps, right? So you can
Mhm.
only whatever 150, 160, 100. I don't have no idea what the salary cap is nowadays. You cannot pay your starting quarterback, $100 million a year, or you can't pay the rest of your team, whatever. That's the way it works. Okay, but in college sports, you just have somebody that comes in there and says, "I'll give you $100 million, or I'll give you whatever that number of dollars is to go play for this particular college." Nothing's stopping that from happening in the NFL. Like, the Falcons can only pay Michael Penix Jr. however much money they can afford within the salary cap, but there's nothing stopping from Mark Cuban coming in and giving him $1 billion to play, just like he went over to Indiana University and paid a bunch of money for their football program.
Yeah, I mean, you make
Why,
somebody
why,
a
why are we?
spokesperson for Better RX or whatever, and yeah,
Why are people? Why are people willing to give their own personal money to these college players to play for teams, but they're not doing it for NFL players?
I mean, I think they do it for NFL players.
Well, sure, you get your sponsorships, like
Yeah,
everybody they have their shoe sponsorship or their drink sponsorship or the airline or whatever they're doing. That kind of stuff's kind of happening. But why why are there people trying to get Mr. Beast to go fund East Carolina and give them $100 million to become like a national champion in college football? Why aren't they going like, hey, why don't you take the Jacksonville Jaguars, Mr. Beast? You could pay those players just as easily as you could pay college players
or you put
by
them
these
on staff
standards.
as like for anything you want. Just call them whatever you want,
Oh,
and
no,
then
he's just
pay him.
he is not part of the affiliate. He's not with the
That's true. You
program.
can just
He's
pay
not.
him whatever he wants. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
he's just like hey, I don't. Oh, they have the Clemson guy, Trevor Lawrence. They go over like, oh, I guess they got him there. You already have him under contract. If they want to get some recruit, they want to bring in somebody else to Jacksonville Jaguars, and like, well, under our salary cap, the most we can afford is $20 million a year. And the guy's like, well, I'm getting an offer of $30 million a year from another team. Well, we can only afford 10, 20, but Mark Cuban is willing to come in and pay another
Another
$25
20.
million this year. And that has nothing to do with us. We're abiding by the salary cap. This is just some random billionaire off the street that says, I'm a huge Jags fan and I want to see my team get
He's a
that.
jagoff.
Yeah, jag it.
Are
So
they jagoffs? Because that'd be great. They should be.
they do, as much as I don't like the Jacksonville Jaguars,
No, who does?
primarily,
Except for that
primarily,
one guy in the Better Good Place.
primarily because I think teal's an ugly color. Where I will give the Jaguars credit, they've been playing a lot of games in the UK and in England specifically, and they
They
have a
like
fan
him.
club. They have a fan club over there called the Union Jacks, JAX, the Union Jacks, and I'm like, I just adore that team name, that fan club name. That's just an awesome fan club
Yeah,
name to have,
that's
the
good.
Union Jacks. It's just like, if the Jaguars ever win a game, I'm happy for that UK fan base that they won a
Mhm.
game. But otherwise, I couldn't give a crap about Jaguars. One of the worst fan experiences I ever had was a 14-year-old kid at a Jaguar.
And Jacksonville sucks.
It's not that great.
There's
It's like
just
the
nothing there.
largest. It's the largest city by like land size in the country.
Yeah, I know, but none of it is developable. It's all just like terrible land that's like it's like all these like water patches and weird ass thing. Like you can't build anything there. So like I love when they brag about that. They're like, we're the largest whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't do anything with any of
Hey,
the
hey,
land.
you give somebody in Jacksonville a few cinder blocks, they can build anything they want. They'll build right on top of them cinder blocks.
I was in the good place, like one of the bits was how much that one character, the like stupid Asian guy, how much he like loves the Jaguars. And he's like, Mark Mariota's there and he's gonna be there a year. He's gonna turn it all around.
Like,
That's good stuff.
more, you get more passionate fans in that stadium for the Georgia Florida game than you get for a Jaguars game. You
I
know,
can attest to the Georgia Florida.
I mean that stadium is really the Georgia Florida stadium, and they let the Jaguars play, some intramural sports there a few times a year.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who's not a Georgia fan, definitely not a Florida fan, but
They
that
probably have more fans
ga-
in the UK.
they probably do.
Those are their home games.
They're actually including the UK as part of their landmass. That's why their city is
That's
the biggest. So
boy.
I forget where I was going with any of that, but yeah. All right,
Yeah, no, I
so
don't know. There might be I think what you were saying though is like why doesn't Mark Cuban just pay, player X in the NFL? But maybe there are some like coordination things, like rules and stuff like that that you can't like go in there and be like, yeah, of course you can't pay him the extra $20 million you want to pay him, but you can't then go like find a way to just
well,
you know what
you
I mean? If
can't
we
find a
prove that
way.
you did that, we'll get you.
Staying on the good RX thing, yeah, sure. Or with Mark Cuban with good RX, he could be like, all right, well, good RX is going to sponsor this player that we want, and so it won't be salary, but we'll pay him $20 million to be the spokesperson for good RX for 3 commercials or something, and now that guy's getting them. Now he's getting that. So I
I
just
bet
don't
that
understand.
happens. I bet that happens.
You think so?
I would bet if Ballers and what's the other one? The guy, the Aquaman guy. If those shows on HBO taught me anything, yes.
Yeah, playmakers. So it'd be interesting to do a study about how many players moved to a city, transferred teams, and then all of a sudden got a huge endorsement deal from some brand.
Yeah, I bet nobody's watching close enough.
Or I mean, are they're just trying to sweep it under the rug and they don't want anybody to know what's actually going on.
But if that's what they value the marketing as, who
We
can
know
argue with that? So
it
it's like,
kind of happened. It kind of happened in New England. It kind of happened with Tom Brady because his wife was making bajillions of dollars more than he was.
yeah, she's the rich one in the relationship.
She's the rich one in their relationship. So he took the hometown discount because, yeah, if you can surround me by better players while my wife makes 10 times what I'm making. All right, cool.
Must be nice.
I don't think that anybody in my bloodline will ever be a professional sports player.
Doesn't seem likely.
All right. With after that, I think it's time to call Ryan wrong. Ryan, you admitted that you're wrong, didn't
Oh, I
you?
didn't know
In our
such
chat?
thing. No,
In our
absolutely not.
chat, you admitted that Tim and I were right all along and you were wrong. Isn't
That
that
doesn't
that's
feel.
how I read the text message at least.
I don't know. You can't prove it.
I could pull it up, but that seems like a lot of effort.
That's what I'm saying. I should have said you won't prove it.
So there's some talks coming out that the SEC, Big Ten, the powers that be are discussing a new classification within FBS to separate the power conferences from the group of 6 conferences.
It's a subdivision
Yeah. And I'm
because
honestly
FBS is already a subdivision.
I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely 100% fine with that. want them to do that. I want them to rip that Band-Aid off and just do it. My only thing is don't do it conference wide. Just let the best programs from these conferences go off and do their own thing they want to do, and let the rest of the P4 be stuck with us G6 programs, and we could actually have some legit regional traditional college football, college sports all over again.
I think there's too many contracts to suss out for that to actually happen. Because like, even the within the intra-conference contracts of, like, who's in the conference and who's not in the conference and what that deal is, and then the TV contracts that go along with it, and, like, all of that overlap does make it pretty difficult. That being said, people do move around. I still just don't think, like, Vandy's gonna get left in the I don't know, I don't think they're gonna get left.
It is funny that as soon as we start approaching the situation where Vandy's always the team that you talk about as being like they'll never match up, Vandy all of a sudden got good.
And you know what? They do spike. See, they do spike every couple of years too. Them and Kentucky. It feels like every decade or so they've got a couple good years.
It'll be interesting to see how Vandy does this year without douchebag Pavia.
Yeah. But one really fun way to solve that problem, and everyone, you get what you want or what you think is going to happen. I don't know if you want it or not. The the lower level ones get left in the dust. Relegation. We've talked about it before, but having,
Yeah.
like a way for people to go into that upper echelon and people drop out of that upper echelon. So then you have people moving.
Relegation will never happen the way things are right now.
There's too much money right now. Nobody's giving it up.
And I don't think it could even happen with a split in the subdivisions, but you've got a better shot at having the
Well, and of
it'll be,
course,
but
there
it'll,
has to be a rule, though, that Notre Dame cannot be relegated.
okay, that's what I was about to say. There'll be a rule. It'll be like a security
Mhm.
council where, oh
Mhm.
yeah, we're going to allow relegation, but only like 4 spots in this 40-team league, and that way, Bama and Georgia and Ohio State and Michigan and Notre Dame will never be relegated
Yeah, they'll have a
down.
protected class. You know
Yeah,
what? I'm honest to God, if they ever did relegation, they would 100% do that. I have no doubt in my mind. It's
yeah.
bullshit.
It's
It's
like
insane.
the Security Council and the UN. It's like we're all equal nations. We're all trying to just make the world a better place. But these 5 countries can decide everything.
Yeah. And then they'd say like, "Oh, it's to protect it because these people are playing the best football." And I'm like, "Yeah, and as long as they continue to do that, they won't get relegated. So what the hell?"
Yeah.
So what you're saying is if they ever don't provide, they'll be protected. Well, that sucks. No, keep providing. I
Well,
like that quality football, baby. Bring it.
and you know that's true just based off of some of the other conversations they've had about the ways they wanted to change the college football playoff when they were like, well, the SEC should get 4 automatic bids in the college football playoff, and the Big Ten should have 4, but then the ACC and what's the other one? Big 12, they only get 2. They were trying to protect the number of teams we're getting. If your conference is that good, then the SEC will always
They'll
have 4
go.
teams.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. But
Don't
no.
water down the playoff with teams that don't deserve to be there, that didn't earn
And
it.
these are the same people saying that a G6 program doesn't belong in it because they can't handle the quality of
Because we didn't
play.
earn. Yeah, yeah.
Yet you're making an automatic bid for a team that otherwise would never have earned the spot in there.
Theoretically, I mean, if it can happen, it will happen, and probably in year one, because it seems to happen every time they try to scheme up rules. It seems like it backfires on them. They try to like control it and make sure like something specific happens, and it never happens. They always like screw it up somehow.
Right. Well, that's why I say I want to rip that Band-Aid off with whatever is going to happen, whatever that separation is going to be. Just do it. Do it now. Just break it off, get it out there, and let the rest of us that never have a chance get back to playing regular college football.
So you're thinking that like that sub level will immediately get rid of like NIL type stuff? I think
I
that's
don't think
dumb. I don't think
I
we're
don't
putting
think
that back in the bottle.
no, I don't think it'll get back to I don't think you're going to get rid of NIL, and I don't think you're going to get rid of transfer portal. I think those are conversations that all need to be had, and decisions need to be made. But I think once you start getting programs that are on a more closely leveled playing field, it becomes a much easier conversation to have. because it's really difficult. It's really difficult for a program like Georgia versus Georgia State to have a conversation about what can and cannot happen when what can happen at Georgia is not even remotely possible of what can happen at Georgia State right now.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, they're still gonna be, like, pulling people, like, even if you, like, control our level, like, they're still like, the Georgias of the world are still gonna go in and cherry pick the best players they want out of our subdivision
I would
sub-subdivision.
I would, you asked a question. I would be very, very happy if whatever the classification that is in between the top and FCS, whatever we would be in, if they went back to a lot of the old rules of, oh, this is, you are a student athlete and that's your role. You get your tuition for free. We're not going to permit the NIL, or we're not going to permit transfer. There's going to be some rules around transfer portal, not hard and fast exactly, but a little bit more strict on the whole thing. I'd be fine with that.
That would guarantee that however narrow that siphon is, however much we're pushing people to the very tippy top of the NCAA, it would, like, make it that much more where, like, a five-star guy there's, like, no way in hell they would go take a scholarship instead of $10 million or whatever the going rate is.
Well, I still think that moving from our level to that top tier level should always be an option. I'm just saying moving within the level becomes more.
Yeah, but you don't what I'm saying is you don't solve the problem because a big part of the problem is that those bigger programs with more money are able to come in and poach, and
Mhm.
they would still just do that. So, like, you didn't
Yeah.
solve that issue, you know what I mean? Like, you solved the issue of Lafayette coming in and poaching our players, but, like, that wasn't a very big problem.
No, yeah, I agree. But then you also have a more finite number of players or teams that are doing this. You have like that 20, 30, maybe 40 teams that are at that upper echelon, which those guys are. I wonder if that happened. If you had 40 teams at the just, at this just basically professional league football programs, would they even take high school recruits? Or would they basically have like their own kind of draft style set up at the end of
Take
our
our
football
players.
season to take our players? Like that's
Well, I don't like the draft. I think the draft is stupid,
I like the
but
draft.
yeah,
The draft's fun. I
the
don't like
draft
the
is
draft
it's
being
fun. Go
I like
ahead.
draft being 5 days and like one round and one night. That's all stupid. Actually, they could keep the NFL draft the exact same way it is right now, and I will never complain about the draft again if they make one change. One change. And that is whoever has the first pick in the draft, why do you give them 15 minutes at the start of the draft? They've had the entire offseason. They've had since
Just
February,
announce it.
whatever. They know where their spot is. You had all those months. Why is there 15 minutes?
Yeah.
You should have to make
And they take it so often. They
and
just
they
take
take
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That drives me insane. That pick should be immediate. This is who it is. When Goodell or whoever it may be in the future comes out there and says, welcome to Pittsburgh. That's where the draft is this year. We're welcome to Pittsburgh, where we're doing the whatever NFL draft, and with the first pick in the NFL draft, whoever I don't even know who's left, Giants or something, take blah, not you're on the clock. You've been on the clock since February.
Yeah. Oh, and I'll do you one better is, every day after that too, your first pick. You had 12 hours to do this. You don't need
But yeah,
15 more minutes. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
it doesn't need to be, what is it, 4 days? It doesn't need to be 4 days long either. It used to be 2 days.
Yeah, that's true. I
I'm
just
and
I don't like the players getting locked in on a team that they may not have any connection with or want to play at all. Like, who the hell? Nobody wants to go to Cleveland. Cleveland's not a real. Ohio's not even real. You know,
you don't have to. You can sit. You care.
that's not that's not a real option. Come on, man.
We have Hall of Famers that did it.
It's definitely a real option, and you have Hall of Famers who did it because they had another option that was just as lucrative, like MLB or something. You know, like they just went and did that.
Well, hey, we got United Football. I had the game on earlier tonight. United Football's out there. They can go play United Football for a year.
What do they pay? Like 35K?
I think it's actually more than that now. That's what the XFL that the XFL when it first started back in whatever 2000, whatever, or 90, late 90s, whatever that was. It was every player on the team made $30,000 a year except for quarterbacks who made 35,000 and
Mm.
kickers who made 25,000.
The only people who use their feet on the ball. That's crazy.
No, I think UFL is actually paying not anywhere near NFL salaries or like, but I think they're paying more than 30,000.
Yeah, it's still like, I mean, the difference is that, like, I go to Cleveland for however many millions of dollars, or I can sit a year and then free agent, I guess. That
Yeah.
that's
No, I think do you go a free agent or do you have to re-enter the draft? I
I
forget
have
which
no
way it
idea.
is. I think you're a free agent. I don't know. But I don't have a problem with the draft. I mean, the whole purpose of the draft and the whole purpose of the salary cap is to try to keep a level of parity within the NFL so that
Yeah, your
you
worst team
don't
gets the
have
best players.
but like you talk about Cleveland, they suck for so long. They keep on getting these first round draft picks or these first picks overall. And now you have 3 players on your team. They're all first picks overall. You're paying them everything. You can't afford to pay anybody else. So there
Mhm.
is a level of also that's their fault. They could have traded down to get more price
Well,
friendly
I think they
players.
should. I think everyone who has a high pick on the first day should do that anyway, because way more, like, even third and fourth round picks pan out than the first and second round. Like, if you go look at the numbers, like, you see a lot more people who pop out, and if you get like 4 or 5 of them, you're bound to find one that does pan out.
I
You know?
agree. Unless you have a glaring need and there seems to be a franchise caliber player, and
Hmm.
granted, franchise caliber player, rated players do not pan out all the time. I get it. But unless you have a glaring need and there's somebody that really fits what you're trying to do
Hmm.
available, I would be totally happy if the Falcons traded out of the first round every year
Hmm.
if we had a serviceable quarterback, a good running back, good wide receiver. If we were just like trying to like just maintain, if we were in a maintain mode, trade out of the first round, get as many second, third, and fourth round picks as you possibly can, and develop the guys and build out a team that can just continually win.
Well, even quarterbacks though, typically you'll pick a rookie, they're not playing year 1. You're not getting any value out of them in
Hmm.
year 1. A quarterback, generally they're playing behind somebody. Sometimes they're not. And then typically they're not panning out, right? So many of those quarterbacks, I mean, I just made fun of Marcus Mariota. Of course he did some things, but he wasn't breaking any records. Maybe he broke some records, I have no idea, but he wasn't good, And like,
Interception records.
the thing is, though, is like even quarterbacks, they're like, oh yeah, I have a big position need for that, but like that first pick, that's no guarantee. And a lot of times, the pick down the line is the one who ends up panning out from whatever draft you're talking about.
I know I should say nothing about NFL draft picks because I did not want to draft Matt Ryan. So I'm an idiot. I've got no idea what I'm talking about because he is unquestionably the best player to have ever played for the Falcons.
That's a wow, because like what that like Deion Sanders and okay, all right,
Ryan, I mean,
yes,
you build the Mount Rushmore of the Atlanta Falcons, and Matt Ryan's the first head you're carving in that tiny ass little mountain.
that's
It's not even a mountain. That
we
little
don't have a lot of
hill.
like standout players. I picked like the one that I know of, and
I think that if you were, we don't need to do it here, but I think that if you were to ask people about Mount Rushmore of the Falcons, you'd probably get Ryan and Vic, and then a smorgasbord of different fan favorites who would go through there.
yeah, I don't know, got it sandblasted off the mountain.
I would not be voting for Vic myself, even though I was
Yeah.
a massive Vic fan when he came here. But I do think that going to games like I do, he would be up there. All right. We've gotten way off. I don't really have anything else, man. I'm surprised we talked as long as we did about Georgia State.
Well, we
I
mostly didn't. So
yeah. Blame Tim. It's Tim's fault. Anybody that doesn't like the fact that we didn't talk enough Georgia State, just blame Tim for not being here. He keeps us on topic better.
well, we just don't have much of anything. I think we could probably do a better job of covering maybe like the people who have been interviewed if we know even those things. But I know
Yeah.
we like the one article I read was just darts at a dartboard. It was, I mean, it was just like pick some people you'd like to see that you expect might be reasonable, but that it wasn't because they heard from anybody that they were being interviewed.
The only name that I've seen that I have any interest in, and it's not because of who they are or necessarily what they've done, but just the power flex move is if we hired Kennesaw State's coach.
Yeah, definitely. We're worse than you, but we have more money, so
Exactly.
meh. Come on.
Going from Conference USA to Sun Belt is not a league step up in college basketball, really. But yeah, we get more money than you, and we're just another 30 minutes down the road. So F you,
If
Kennesaw
we could
State.
pay you 500K more and you don't even have to move, no brainer.
Absolutely. I mean, and if we did hire him, and he had the same success here that he's had at Kennesaw State, then he'd probably only be here for like 2 years, 3 years anyways.
Yeah, somebody else will get Georgia Tech will pick him up next. He'll get another
No.
he'll get another million,
Well,
and he doesn't have to move again.
Tech just picked up Troy's coach. They picked up Troy State's coach, who
They're the
came
ones
from
that they're the ones in the tournament, right?
or were in the tournament. Yeah. So, and that was also a funny one. Like, yeah, you're not allowed to talk to coaches while they're still working, whatever. Like 17 hours after Troy lost their game, he was announced as the head coach of Georgia Tech.
Oh man, and they lost a lot. 76-47. They lost a lot. They were
Didn't even score
they didn't even
50
score
points.
50. No, 47. The only team, Idaho, also the number 15 seed, also scored 47 points.
Idaho.
I'm just saying, like 47. Yeah, oof. Troy State, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Should you have been hired?
All right. We all done here?
Probably.
Last call?
Yeah. Let's do it.
One of the things I want to talk about in last call, Ryan, is a conversation I wanted to have with you and Tim was about the stuff we want to do in the offseason so we don't have these episodes where we're really struggling to find things to talk about, getting some others on, some interviews on or something like that, or just other things we can possibly do. So maybe we can brainstorm some ideas, and if anybody watching wants to chime in, and we have viewers, they're just not chatting with us tonight. So
It happens.
all right. Tim's gone, so I got to do this. Thanks, Ryan, for listening. We're going to head over to Last Call. I think I'm going to keep it streaming on YouTube tonight. We'll see how that goes. You can find us otherwise on our Patreon page, patreon.com/StateofAtlanta. Little as $5 a month to get access to our group chat, early access to live stream, Last Call, whatever the hell it's called, and merchandise, all that kind of fun stuff. And it just helps us support the show. The money does actually get used to pay for all the stuff we're doing here. So thanks, Ryan, for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Say goodbye. Bye.
Bye, guy.